Talktainment Radio Worldwide Sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
This is the Wellness Spot, and I'm Tonya Kerrin. Wellness is a choice, is a choice, is a choice, is a choice. Wellness is a choice. TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go. The world's greatest radio. Radio the way it should be heard. You're in touch with the Wellness Spot, and I'm Tank the Nurse. Call us at 1-877-932-9766. Watch us and hear us on Facebook/Talktainment Radio. The Path to Wellness. We have ALISA KLEPSER, founder and director of the Holy Wellness Center, Incorporated. Thank you for being here, ALISA.
Thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you here with me today. ALISA is a wife, mother, professor, a licensed professional counselor, the founder of the Holy Wellness Counseling and the Holy Wellness Center. And also you're an adjunct professor at COTC at the OSU Newark campus.
I am.
So you have a lot of a wealth of knowledge that I want to tap into today, because as we are talking wellness, it's important to get different views on wellness. You know, sometimes people can have a distorted view of what wellness means. So I got a lot of questions for you. I was able to go on your website, and before I start, let me just say this. I went to a 30-minute poetry therapy session. And so at that session, I took your bio that I got, and I just read the bio, and I just want to read you a poem that was written. The Wellness Path, the path to health, making better choices with the hand we're dealt. For once we know and once we learn, better options we can discern. A science and art to making us well, through understanding, knowledge, and the powerful smells. It's up to you if you want to walk on a path to wellness and not just default.
That's good.
Yes,
That's
yes.
very good.
And that was done in about 5 minutes. Now,
Talent,
this is a person that's on the road to wellness. And I guess I got a couple questions.
Okay.
Before I read your vision and goals that I got off your website. What is whole wellness? And what is your definition of wellness?
I would like to say that the World Health Organization in 1953 put out a definition of wellness. And they said that, or health, a definition of health. And they said that it incorporated mind, body, social wellness, and spiritual wellness. And that is what I believe, and that's what I'd like to come back to. 1953, they started this kind of idea of what wellness is. But as you know, we have delineated from that in a great way and have turned into a more reactive type of health as opposed to a proactive path to wellness.
And that is powerful, and I like that you went back to, because there's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing.
And you went back to the World Health Organization and their definition: mind, body, social, and spiritual.
Yep.
And it takes all four.
Yeah, what we do as a society is we fragment ourselves. That we believe if we have this perfect number on a scale, or we have this quote unquote ideal, social media setup or the friends that we have, that we are well and we are not fragmented selves. And
that's true. And that made me think of something that I said several times. A lot of people equate health and wellness to beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not so. Beauty does not dictate health and wellness, and neither does size. Some people think that because they are a size 4
mm-hmm.
and not a size 44,
right,
that they are well. And that does not dictate wellness or health.
Correct.
And then last week I used something that you taught me, or we discussed. Last week we talked about social media. And here we're going to talk a little bit about social wellness and about the platforms, mm-hmm. and, having 1,000 likes and having 1,000 friends on Facebook and having a lot of people respond and like you and send you hearts does not dictate wellness.
Nope. It actually probably drives you further away from wellness. A big word or phrase that I use is that we have a tendency to compare, which I believe leads to despair. So what I do is when I'm sitting in my home and I'm, flipping mindlessly through all of the social media platforms for what I think might be 10 minutes, which turns into a couple of hours, I'm comparing myself in my sweatpants on my couch to these people's facade that
mm-hmm.
they display on social media. And that separation from my mediocrity compared to their amazing life is what drives that division, what drives that separation, and what drives that crisis.
Yes.
Because then that drives our thoughts, that drives our motives, and that causes us to take a step back. Well, I'm not as good as. I can't be like that. They're better than me. Check out their size. They're perfect, whatever. And it is a profound distortion that is just sweeping across not just the United States, but the entire world. And if we're not willing to get a hold or get ahead of that with ourselves, because I can't do it for anybody else. Even in all of my titles that you described, I can't do it for anybody except for myself.
Wow. Something you said there, I recently watched a video from Mel Robbins, and she commented on how when people are scrolling through the Facebook and scrolling through, the way our brain is designed, and I know you're a specialist in the brain. That's not one of your titles, but you are very knowledgeable in how this brain works. But she talked about the reticular, mm-hmm. and she talked about how we will find the things that we are comfortable with. Correct. So I can scroll through that, and I won't find things that will support my health and wellness, mm-hmm. and support me being positive on myself. Mm-hmm. But if I have that negative chatter, my mm-hmm. eyes will go straight to the things that reinforce what I'm already thinking.
Sure. So also too, if our brain does that for us automatically, our thoughts do that for us as well. So there's a psychological phenomenon called priming, and we set our expectations on something, and that's what we're going to be looking for. So if we have that negative dialogue already happening, that is what we're looking for. So the goal is to change that dialogue, and it doesn't happen by flipping a switch.
No.
I wish that I could be like, here you go, this is how it works. But it doesn't.
Yeah.
You have to practice.
Right.
And you have to practice.
Well, so let me go into that part of this whole person concept.
Sure.
The whole wellness. I said whole person concept because I truly believe in whole person concept. That's how I treat clients as a nurse. Mm-hmm. I look at the whole person. So tell me what you mean by the whole wellness.
So when I think about, I work with people who are in need. They come to me when they're in a crisis, a mental health crisis. And I can't look at the person and say, well, it's only your mental health. It has to be acknowledged that you have a body. Are you taking care of it? What are you eating? What are you taking in? You have these 5 senses. What are you operating in? What are you looking at? What are you smelling? What are you tasting? What are you listening to? What are you touching? So that has to be incorporated into your mental health wellness, as well as that spiritual part. And when we talk about spiritual part, sometimes it scares people. But your spiritual part is different from your soul. Your spiritual part is that purpose for your creation. How and why am I here? Because I truly believe we all have a very specific purpose and what we're created to be.
That's powerful, and that's powerful because I had a person in from Canada this weekend, and we did a seminar, and then we had a class on PTSD. And at the end of that class, there was this amazing video, New Year, New Mind. I think that was the name of it. But he talked about sin and how the word sin came from archery into sin, meaning to hit the mark. And so he broke that down to say that some of us, our sin is that we are missing the mark, or as you just said, we're not doing our purpose. So what is our purpose? Because like you said, we are all created with a purpose. And with that, I want to just read your vision and goals. I printed that off your website. It says, our vision is to foster lifelong well-being with courage, compassion, and connection for our entire community. Our mission is to connect, educate, and inspire the community with the opportunity to achieve and maintain a balanced, healthy lifestyle through exceptional programs and services. Our goals are to focus on our clients, their strengths, and to meet each person's individual needs, to provide a professional, well-trained, and dedicated wellness team to offer professional services at affordable prices. Now, can I say, the person that does the poetry is big on words. These are some powerful words in your vision, your mission, and your goals. And I have to ask about these 3 words: courage, compassion, and connection. All of the thousands of words we have in the English language. What made you pick courage, compassion, and connection?
Those words, I believe, those 3 C's, I believe, kind of encapsulate who we are as a person and as an individual. And that we are, when we think about courage, courage is not the absence of fear. It's able and the ability to move despite the way you feel, to continue to move forward in whatever trajectory that you've set before you or that has been given to you. Because sometimes we don't get to choose the exact path. When I think about the word compassion, first and foremost, you got to have compassion for yourself. If you are not taking care of yourself, if you are being judgmental, operating out of distorted views and running on this hypervigilance of emotion, you're not giving yourself compassion. We are broken people. We make little mistakes, we make big mistakes, but we're not the sum of our mistakes. And so we have to pour in that compassion and connection. Science would tell us that any kind of isolation or avoidance will lead to some form of crisis. And I think that if you maintain that connection, I call it your inner circle. Those people that you talk to daily, those people that you would be willing to hug as soon as you saw them. And it doesn't have to be 50. It doesn't even have to be 5. It can be one other person that you could connect with that knows you as being red hot. So red hot is another acronym that I use. Can I share it with you?
Oh, please.
So red hot, you want to have resiliency for the R. You want to have empathy, and you want to be determined. So that's red. And you want to be hot. I want to be known as hot ALISA. I want to be humble, open, and transparent.
Wow.
And so if I focus in on those and I help someone else focus in on those, because my connection is reciprocating. If you're going to give to me, then I'm going to give to you. And if you're not given to me, I'm still going to give to you, because that's how we're supposed to operate. And that's what I believe the Holy Wellness Center is, and the vision of it. And you mentioned the word affordable. Currently, the Holy Wellness Center is able to provide all of the programs for free. So I think that's pretty affordable.
Yes.
And who doesn't love free?
Right.
But to get to that free programming, you got to have courage. You got to have compassion for yourself, and you got to be willing to make those connections.
Well, I want to go back to what you just said about the red hot.
Okay.
And this is Tank's version. Now, you tell me if this is accurate or not.
Okay.
But what I heard with when you said that was, I tell people that you need someone that you can be naked with. And what does that mean to be naked? That means that I am okay with being my authentic, true self. I have my authentic, true voice.
Right.
I don't have to filter anything. I don't have to cover up anything.
Yeah.
You know me.
Yeah. And
But I like red hot. That's a little bit better than being naked.
Well, I think that the word transparent,
Yes.
what I say is transparent, that just takes that entire what you said into consideration. And when you are living authentically, you are living in a state of acceptance.
Yes.
And you are accepting yourself. And that's the first thing, is self. Again, I cannot do for anyone else until I'm taking care of myself. And I tell that with all of my clients. I say, I can help you, and I'm not going to tell you to do something that I have not already done or am working on, because people can see through that facade. People can see through, oh, your talk is cheap. I want my fruits, the things that I bear to demonstrate that this works.
And you said that word several times, so I'm known as the oil boss, or Tank the nurse. But now I got to jump in. I had a class on Monday on acceptance. It's an amazing oil that we have with Young Living, and it helps to build self-worth.
Yep.
It helps to have self-love. It helps to get rid of negative thoughts and denial and procrastination. And just listening to you, and you on your website, you have the Holy Wellness Counseling. Again, because you're a licensed professional counselor, so people can see you for that. But you also have my favorite, aromatherapy.
Yeah.
Those wonderful smells. Tell me a little bit about why you use aromatherapy.
Well, it goes back to that what I just said. I would never ask anyone to do something that I didn't already try and it worked for me. And aromatherapy works for me. And I use it voraciously, lavishly is what I say. Lavish it. Because that's not often we use that word about ourselves. So I lavishly use it. But also, being a behavioral scientist, I looked up the science of it. And our sense of smell is so greatly underutilized, yet it is used to our detriment if we don't use it proactively.
Right.
So if we had 100% of what you experience emotionally in the day, 85% of that is affected by your sense of smell. So why not get some control over my emotions 85% of the time by controlling what I'm smelling, or helping my brain recognize through conditioned response that this is okay, that I'm safe, that I can be who I am, who I'm created to be. I accept myself, just all those wonderful things that sometimes left unattended becomes very negative and disease oriented.
Wow, that's powerful. And that you just said it a different way, what I say all the time. The sense of smell goes to the deep limbic system, and it affects our response. And it allows us to get rid of old memories, trauma, hurt. You talked a little bit about being broken. The sense of smell is designed. And can I say that just recently I had an aha moment. You know, I went to the hospital and I wanted to take the person some oils. And at some of our hospitals here in Columbus, you can use oils, and they will even give you oils if you request it. But do you know that I figured out why you cannot use a lot of oils in the hospital? And they always say the same thing. Oh, the fragrance, we have too many people that, you know, the fragrances they're allergic. They're not allergic. There's no such thing to pure therapeutic grade essential oils to allergies. That's a myth. There are no allergies. But what there is what you just said. We are governed by our sense of smell. And so in the hospital, we're going into the sickest people, right? So if those people have toxins, however those toxins are in their body, those oils are going in telling those toxins, you got to go.
Right.
You're on notice. And that's not fun. It will equate to, oh, that smells. Oh, that's allergic reaction. Or sometimes it can equate to a physical manifestation of a detox, which again is not pleasant. So I understand. You cannot bring wellness that fast. It will cause a healing crisis. So it has to be a slow process. But you said something powerful that I want you to touch on. Wellness has to come from within. And you said something that you said, well, I wanted to ask you, in your bio, you said it is important for people to seek their own path.
Yeah.
Why is that so important?
Well, I mean, anatomically, we're the same, right? We both have a brain, we both have a heart, we both have 2 kidneys, 1 liver, we have those things. But because of the life that we have had, or that we have walked out, the path, the interaction, the environment, the mind that has been created is so individualized. You know, that old saying, you've never walked a mile in my shoes, is designed to draw out people's empathy so that we can suspend our own self, suspend your own ego, and look at another person and go, hey, we're the same, but we are profoundly different in the way that we perceive things, the way that we hear things, the way that we feel things, because they come in through a filter that comes out of brokenness, that, you know, comes out of faults, that comes out of distortion. And again, left to our own devices, left to just automatic, just doing day in and day out things, you will automatically go to negative thinking.
Oh yeah.
No infant born, no child born came out saying, yay, thanks for taking me out, I'm so happy. They come out angry. They come out, who can I trust? Who's going to take care of me? And so, and that cortisol, right? And that adrenaline is pumping through their body. And if we don't change that, if someone didn't love us the right way, you know, we all come from brokenness.
Right.
We all come from tragedy. We all come from just places that no one should ever have to see. Then we'll stay there. But I believe wellness is coming out of tragedy into triumph. I believe that everybody gets the story of, I was once, but now I am.
Hello.
And if we can embrace that, if we can say, yes, that's me, that's my path to wellness, then you will get on it. There's no doubt. I have no doubt. If you can wake up every morning and say, I once was, but I am now.
Wow, that's powerful. You know, in that class of acceptance, there's a wonderful oil called Present Time. And I talked about that we have to change our story. And we can no longer look at the past and still keep looking in the rearview mirror and look forward. You just can't do it. You cannot drive successfully forward staring at the past or telling that old story. You got to rewrite the story. You got to be made new.
Right.
And I like the way you said that. You said, I once was, but now I am.
Right.
And putting something behind that I am. That's powerful. You know, and that goes to forgiveness. And I say that all the time. Forgiveness is not condoning.
Correct.
It's not pardoning. It's not reconciling. It's not even forgetting. but it's letting go of hoping for a better past.
Right. Can I add two things?
Mm-hmm.
So forgiveness is not one and done. Forgiveness is every time it comes up, I have to say, no, I forgive. It comes up again. And it comes up without even us being aware.
Right.
No, I forgive. So it is a constant state of practicing as well. And also I want to say that when you talked about, driving and trying to look in the past, that's the way I describe depression and anxiety. That we have to be self-aware. We have to be mindful. We have to be present in today and in this moment, like you and I sitting here. And if I stay hyper-focused on the past, I'm in depression.
Yes.
And if I get hyper-focused on the future and trying to control every possibility, I'm running in anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's guaranteed the future, and I can't get back to the past. All I've got is right here, this blink, this breath is all I'm guaranteed. And if I operate out of that, then I'm guaranteed whole wellness.
Awesome. Wow. You have to come back.
Thanks.
I got 1,000 questions from that statement alone.
Thank you.
I have 1,000 things. I'm like, oh, can I ask this? Can I ask this? But when we come back for our second half, I want to find out this thought pattern that I saw in your bio on Matthew 7. Now, I took a little peek at it. Has a lot in Matthew 7.
Yep.
I've got some favorite scriptures, but Matthew 7 is power-packed. It talks about judging, keep on asking, narrow is the gate, produce good fruit, build a house on the rock.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, there's a lot in Matthew 7. And for that to be the cornerstone of what you define the wellness and what you use to create the Holy Wellness Center, I'm really interested to see what you think about that, or what your thoughts on that. And I just want to comment on one other thing. You talked about how we have to stay there, and it made me think of keeping our frequency high. I talk about that a lot, how when our frequency is low, that's where illness is. But when we can maintain our frequency, but it's tough. Words affect our frequency. Food affects our frequency. The air we breathe, the friends around us, they can suck and take out our frequency, or they can add to our frequency. So much can affect our frequency. And again, when our frequency is low, that's where illness is. When our frequency is high, that's where wellness is. And that starts with our thoughts, with our feelings and our emotions, which affect our actions and our behaviors. And I know you know all that. I'm just probably taking something that I learned from you and just tweaking it a little bit for Tank.
Yes, I think it's amazing. When I look at the word emotion, it's E-motion. It's energy in motion. And so what energy are you choosing to put emotion in your body? And if we look at negative energy, it is a negative emotion is a negative energy at a low frequency, the ability for your cells to move.
Wow.
And so if we take a energy and motion and we put positive, we're guaranteed high. It doesn't mean I walk around all day cheesing it up and smiling and laughing. And no, I still have valleys, right? But I choose to come out of those and think about how can I get to the next peak or the next top of my mountain.
Wow, that's true. And when you mention that energy and motion, I think about something that Eunice Ingham said, that every negative thought and every negative communication cause an acidic thing in our bloodstream.
Yep.
And that is true.
Yeah.
So it causes us to be acidic. And people know, and they understand that when you are acidic, you are not well.
Right.
So that positive helps to alkaline your blood cells, and on a physical level helps your body to repair. So next, Matthew 7 and the path to wellness.
Yes.
What does Matthew 7 have in store for us?
Are you ready for a high school that allows you to work at a place that is right for you? Are you ready to earn a certification in healthcare, business, or manufacturing while achieving your high school diploma? Then you are ready for Life Skills High School, a free public school option for high school students 16 to 21 years old. Learn more about your free high school educational options at lifeskillshs.org or call them at 1-800-888-7992. Life Skills High School, education that fits your life.